Hello and welcome to the Certified Sniper Shooting Academy. What we're going to work on today will be very unique and different. We're going to work on mastering early the role and responsibility of a shooter. It's important that as we're getting ready to look and go into the season of basketball in the year of 2022, we're on the Thanksgiving break. And it's important that in basketball you have a role and a responsibility. You have 4 other players on the court that have a role and a responsibility as a teammate and as a player. And what we do at the Sniper Academy is we really hone in on showing young athletes from an early age, beginning 12 or 13, once they're cognizant thinking and they figure out, it's a skill set that they kind of is their primary by choice. We look at how can we help them to begin to master that skill set. Today we'll be working with DJ, young sharpshooter. His desire is to become one of the best shooters around, and he's working on now just looking and fine-tuning his mechanics, while you see other players are working on other aspects of their game. He understands that now it's about the routine, the rhythm, and the reps. The routine, the rhythm, and the reps. So being that he has a personal certified shooting coach, anytime that's available in a gym, he want to make sure you get the reps up. So we start at the front of the rim, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to start mid-range shooting. We're going to work on today is going to be from the corner. We give the other athletes the full gym, but it's no excuse, no days off. We work on that corner 3, that Klay Thompson corner 3, that Ray Allen corner 3. These are individuals who have mastered the corner 3. And if you have several spots on the court and you've gotten the reps in that you need over time, that muscle memory begins to take place, not only with your ability to get the ball to go straight, but your ability to understand how much room, range, and rhythm that you need in order to get your shot off. So we'll work on not only the distance, we're also going to work on the release and the advantage of his set release. What's happening with his finger, his form, his follow through, and his feel for the ball. So I'm just going to continue to just take that ball and channel it back to him, allowing him the opportunity to understand how does his body feel and what is it that he needs to do. And it's on his own for him to begin to step back. Again, with my clients, I allow them the freedom and flexibility to add into their training. Today was something that he inspired to do. Say, let's work on my corner. That's important. If you look at the other videos, we had a lot of him working at the 45, which is the wing angles, as well as the top of the key. Now we're just going to go through the corner pocket, the side angles. This is one of the hardest shots because you don't have the backboard and you don't have the other elements that's used in order to lock your eyes in to the target. I'm using one word catchphrases to help him to be able to lock in, to help him to be able to understand that all he has to do is reload, recalibrate his thinking. He has to have the ability to block everything out and begin to just continue to do exactly the same thing over and over again. As you can see, he has several times where we don't mind the misses. One of the things we want him to do is just be able to understand he has to have short-term memory as a shooter. The elite stylist shooters, they have short-term memory. When it comes to the shots made, they try to keep that in their memory bank. The shots missed, You want to forget about those as quick as possible and be able to go back to what are your mechanics? What's your feedback? What do you need to do in order to fix it? His thing now is that at the age of 13 is to work on how did he miss. And today we'll put up probably about 300 shots today. In this video about 45 minutes, you probably put up at least about a couple of hundred. But actually the video is about an hour and a half long. It was a good 2-hour workout. We're only going to do it from this angle because of the camera and video availability. We won't do the other angle that we did, which is the other side of the court. And that's only due to the traffic that was on that side as the basketball players are going down and up and down the court. He really want to understand his role as a shooter. Not only will we just be shooting today, we'll also do things off the dribble. We'll go to the basket, and as a result, when you're a shooter, your next objective is to have an amazing pump fake, to have an amazing drive to the basket, because they're going to close out on you. And as they close out on you, you have to be ready with a good pump fake that looks just like your shot, as well as your ability to go downhill to the basket. We work a lot on what's your purpose. As a shooter, what's your purpose? Is your ability to open up the floor to give your teammates more room to slash to the basket, to give your teammates an outlet that off of a rebound, to give you an understanding that you bring something to the game and to your team that brings value, added value. The return on investment is going to come from him being able to put millions of shots up, hundreds of thousands of shots up per year, and at the same time, over time, begin to be able to understand that his value of shooting is appreciated. And that's his job, is to appreciate the work that he's putting into what he's doing. Again, no matter what your age is, you can start from as young as 10 years old, and you want to decide to be a certified sniper, and you just put the time and the work in. Everybody don't have a professional trainer, but if you got a basketball goal at home and you start up close, we can give you the tools you need for the mechanics in order to make sure that you start off right. And it's important that you start off right, because a lot of shooters, once they get to basketball players 12 and 13 years old, their mechanics are already embedded in, based upon when they start shooting or how they shoot. So those are habits. Shooters form habits, and habits form their future. That's their outcomes. So if they have bad habits, we have to look at breaking those habits and being able to build new habits that can benefit them more for the outcomes that they want. Okay, what we work with DJ on is, what is your outcome? What outcomes do you desire? Okay, so if you desire the outcome to be able to shoot from any angle, okay, what we have to work on is your ability to generate from your thinking, from your body language, from your range of motion, from your mechanics, the outcomes that you desire. And you have to be disciplined enough for 3 feet. That's from the time he gets that ball to his waist dip to the time he releases it. That's probably about 3 feet. That's all he's responsible for. After the ball leaves his fingers, he has no control over what that ball does. So now it's just about him thinking of, what do I need to do? We're not going to make every shot, but we're definitely not going to miss every shot. The goal is to make a lot more than what we miss. That depends on our basketball scheme. That depends on, is it a catch and shoot? Are we shooting off the dribble? Are we shooting off a pin down, a curl? Are we shooting running down the court? Are we walking into a shot? Are we transitioning to a shot? All of those different movements, they have an advantage or a disadvantage as far as percentages of the ball going in. And we already understand that we're looking to get in spaces to do catch and shoots, one dribble pull-ups. 2, 3 dribble max pull-ups, and then the rest we just go into the basket. So you'll see a little bit later in the video of how we're going to work on some footwork and maneuver. Right now I'm working with him on his balance. It's important that he use his entire ball of his foot. Before he was using more of the tip of his toe, and now we're working on that entire balance, because that gives him more of a foundation when it comes to shooting. So we're not working on the top part, we're working on the bottom part right now. Now we'll do is we'll just have him run into the corner. This is normal. You know, when they setting up after a foul and his team is in a stack where they're lined up and he raced to the sideline, his whole thing is to be able to shoot the ball and get ready. If he coming across from one end to the other, he should be ready. Feet set, shoulders up, knock down the shot. Got to be able to relocate that basket, get into a position, and just allow your body to muscle memory to do what you practice to do thousands of times. Remember, we do 300 shots a day. That's 10,000 shots every 35 days. That's a lot of shooting. But if we're going to do that kind of shooting, why not go ahead and do it deliberate? This is called deliberate practice. Good 200 to 300 shots of these deliberately, you get a lot more done than putting up 1,000 shots and not paying attention to what you're doing, because it's about the mechanics. Once he get up to 500, get up to 750 and 1,000 shots, he'll understand he can take them 100 at a time, but make sure that they're deliberate. Footwork. How does he turn? Does he like to turn left or does he like to turn right? That's all predicated upon him. Okay, I don't tell him which way to turn, because everybody's different. You know, let him decide when he's ready to turn. Right now we're working on his primary. If his primary is for him to turn to the left because of the way he identifies the goal once he pivots, that's fine right now. It's about confidence, because basically if he give himself the room, he could turn whichever way he want to. It's not really about the turn. It's about what he do once he faced the basket. It's about how is his feet going to be set. Remember, as he catches the ball, feel, finger, form, follow through, finish. That's our formula. As he catches the ball, feel, finger, form, follow through, finish. That's the progression that we use. All I'm doing now is telling him that he can turn whenever he wants to. He doesn't have to have a set amount of steps. That defender is following him. He can turn when he get ready. All you got to know is just get to his spot. We let him turn at different speeds, so that way he'll understand. It's all about his stop. No matter what, it's going to be the same thing. Hit or miss. Feel, finger, form, finish, follow through. He just do it again. Next time down court, he can have the same shot. Okay? Remember we talked about short-term memory. Lock back in. Short-term memory. Lock back in. He's doing very well with his cognizant thinking. Now he's just coming from a different angle. Anytime you turn left or right, all we want you to do is to be able to understand the same mechanics. It's going to be based upon the time that he has for his release. He's working on a little quicker release now. If you notice, his lift is very consistent. He's gotten the strength that he needs in his wrist flick, which is very important. It's very tiny details, and using those details depends on his release at the very end. All I'm telling him all the time, I'm just passionate about what he does, and that because of his potential, all he has to do is just continue to shoot the same shot every time, hit or miss. Figure it out, the base at the bottom. Now I'm telling him about his feet now. Once he sit on the ball of his right foot, his balance is a lot better. If you notice the reps that he getting in, it's important that right now between the ages of 12 and 14 that they get all the reps they can, because by the time they get 15 they're already psychologically built a foundation of what type of player they would become. They're going to get better based upon their abilities to understand I have to get better. But if at the shooting academy, what we do is we want to get the fundamentals and the foundation solid. And if we can get a couple of them to master the art, or master from an early age the disciplines and the mechanics of shooting, when their maturity kicks in, all they're going to do then is start really enjoying and really reaping the benefits of all of the deposits that they have made. Right now we're just doing compound deposits of shooting. Now you got his one dribble pull up. Everything coming from the corner. This is game season, so he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot as a point guard. He'll be playing the shooting guard a lot, but he can handle the ball, he'll have the ball in his hands. Coming off of a rebound, the ball gets outlet to him. He has to be able to make quick decisions. And the more confidence you have, when you can make a quick decision in the mid-range for your team, it's a lot of those shots are going to go into the basket. The girls, high school and college basketball, they use the mid-range a lot. The boys, I'm noticing from what I see, it's pretty much like NBA style. It's either catch and shoot, heavy bully to the basket, or dunks at the basket, or rim runners. The girls are using their mid-range. What we want to do now is get him comfortable with using that mid-range, because it's a lot of shots that's available in the mid-range. Okay, because everybody can shoot the ball pretty much, the spacing is wide open. So to get a good rip and a dribble pull up, he can add easy another 8 points to his game over time. Now we're just working on consistency. As he gets stronger, his even deeper shots going to be more simple, because he'll just be going through the motion. Now we're adding a little more footwork. I'm allowing him the freedom. If you notice, I don't tell him exactly what moves he needs to make. He's learned the 6 dribbles. Now what you do is use your imagination. It doesn't matter. He can use dribbles, a combination that he see in a video game. Right now, once you get the fundamentals, it's all on your confidence. I just share in my trainers, if we're going to do it, let's take the Mamba mentality, the Kobe Bryant mentality, and let's do it over and over again till when you get in the game, you've done it so many times it feels like practice. And then we'll add a defender. My trigger words to him is his finish. Once he picked that ball up, he becomes a shooter. Doesn't matter what he does when that ball is on the ground. Once he pick it up, you become a shooter. So you have to understand your mechanics totally change. You gotta lock in your abs and your glutes and let the ball fly. This is all about trusted mechanics. Tight handles. Body fluidity. And just have fun. Notice the amount of reps you get to put in. No breaks, no rest. We do this for about a good hour and a half, and then he's done. Then he gives his brain a chance and his body a chance to recoup, and at the same time it can register all of the reps that he's put in place. But the key is when he goes home and watches this, he can see himself making these shots. Missing them don't matter because that's what's going to happen in games. See, it's okay for him when he in these practices. I tell him, don't worry about missing. That's what practice is for. So you can understand the various angles that you need. Understanding that that lift on that ball is important. That plays a heavy part in making sure, because that ball is going to react to how your fingers are coming off of the rim. When I mean pointing at the rim. If you look at it a couple of times, when it leaves his hand, it looks perfect almost. So what we're trying to do now is get him to understand is, let's repeat that. Let's repeat that motion. It's all about consistency. His consistency is very important. Consistency and confidence. In a minute we'll start doing that pump fake and we'll start going to that basket. It's all about the footwork though. We're going to add something a little bit different, something that he does all the time, and he'll be getting ready to go to the basket doing reverse layups. Okay, on his reverse layups is basically just him understanding his body movement. That's the important part. And all I do is help him to make little minor adjustments. Adjustments are very minor. That backboard, everything is geometrics. Angles and understand geometrics and what he's getting his ball to do as a circumference. Then once he begins to understand the flow of his body, it's a little bit better. Right now, he's kind of speeding it up. He just has to be able to look at the rim. But once he hits the basket, his whole mental capacity will change. Like the ball just went in, now things will change, because that's called success. All I'm going to do is slow him down and ask him to just let your body ease up and do what you do on your miking drill. We're adding patterns. It's a dribble pattern. Then once you pick the ball up, you just do your fundamentals of the miking drill. He does about 100 micings a day. This is time that young athletes can put in away from the gym. You don't need an instructor. You don't need a babysitter. You just need to make a decision that I'm going to do what I need to do. And you can do miking drills on both sides of the goal. What we're doing now is we'll come from the other side a little bit, and the ball is going in. It's all about his angle and how he feels. I'm noticing on this one, the ball is going in a little bit with a little bit more confidence because he's right-handed. And when he looks at having to probably spin the ball off the backboard, the confidence from him doing his miking drills is probably a little bit easier for him. I can tell by the way that he does it. Here we're working on just some little spin moves. As he comes through the lane, he has to be comfortable with making a move at the last minute. The key is we're going to put the ball in the basket. Again, that's why I call it 1 foot drill, because it's basically about 1-footers. And as I say in all the videos, in just observing middle school game, observe a middle school game. Okay, if your athlete played middle school, you go to the game, take a piece of paper and a pencil, and just do a tick mark on how many 1-footers they miss. No matter how they do it, just count. You're going to be amazed when your number get up to about 45. That's just one team. Between both teams, they're going to miss about 80 layups. Depends on how fast the game is going. Okay, you 40 layups, that's 80 points. 1 foot from the basket. Because they're contested, and a lot of times they're getting ready to put the ball back up in the rim. It's not that they can't make the shot. It's that they haven't done enough reps to where that mechanical becomes automatic. They're not going to make them all, but they'll miss a lot less than what they're missing. That's one of the advantages that Kyrie Irving, great when he finishes at the rim at 6'1". He understands that backboard and how that ball is supposed to react, and how certain spins on that ball, the backboard will cancel out the spin and give him time. We'll start working on the underhand scoop, which is important to get in front of his defender, because as defenders are behind him, he's going to have to understand once the players get bigger and longer, his ability to change his layup pattern, his layup package is important. So all we're working on now is layup packages. And the way I do it is I do rep after rep after rep. It's all his feel for it. Okay? Very little correction. Because now, being game season, once he go to the rim, he's not going to be able to think about what am I supposed to do. He just got to go ahead and just make it happen. If he misses it, short-term memory. You already know your angles that you're comfortable with. Again, I share with young athletes, do what you're comfortable with doing, and then we're going to keep adding. But if you do him enough time, you begin to slowly but surely, he's a shooter. Not to pump fake going to the basket. Because there were times when he would not go to the basket because he was not sure. And one of the things that we did as helping him build his mechanics is we went straight to shooting. He was already a ball handler, and we said we're going to train the 1-footers last, because we knew all he had to do is get a little bit bigger and more mature. And once we teach him the mechanics of it, it's basically just repeating like he does as a shooter. You got to put the time in. And as he gets taller, it's going to be even easier. But over the next 12 months, if we can get him where he's totally confident with going to the rim, reverse on both sides, using over left, under left, and being able to use his floater, he's pretty much done packaging. Then he spends the rest of his career just defining it and mastering it and becoming a magician. Now we're working on him going between the legs from another angle, where if he had to make a decision at the last minute, he still can go up. Because coming down on the fast break, he's going to have the opportunity to take people one-on-one off the dribble. But I tell him the key to it is make sure you finish your 1-footers. This is part of the training where he get a chance to just do what he loves to do, and that's handling the ball. He's always been a ball handler. He must be able to mix it up. The more he understands that backboard, the smoother and more confidence he'll have in what he wants to do with the basketball. Left hand or right hand. Your athlete must be able to go left. When they can go left, then they open up the entire court to themselves. If they're left-handed, begin to make them go right, because you're giving them an advantage. He enjoys going left a lot, but it's going to be incredible when he decides and understands his dominant hand is his bread and butter. So by him loving to go left now, that's even better. Because most of the team's going to tell you, take away their dominant hand. Take away his right hand. But when they do that, and that foot come forward, and you can go left just as fast as you can go right, you add another dimension to your game. Next series, we'll start mastering the jab step. Hard jab, left jab, double tap. We'll begin to add those elements to his game. Now I'm going to watch his footwork, just to see how his footwork is going and how to use both hands. We're working on the left side now. Control that ball. We do a lot of between the legs instead of just crossovers, because between the legs protects the ball. If he can go between his legs, the crossover is where the ball gets stolen. We work heavily on between the legs, because his crossover will be automatic. Then you want to be able to go to both sides of the rim. Eyes on the target. And the reps is what's going to make the difference. You got to be able to do rep after rep after rep. That's the important part. Because that's what has the cognizant thinking, and your confidence even gets stronger, because you've done it so many times. And now your body is just reacting to what you want to do. But you've already practiced it over and over again. Okay. We work a lot on skill, because we want a lot of the success to come from skill. We're going to have a lot of luck involved too, but we want the majority of it to come from skill. Because if it comes from skill, then skill brings about more confidence. And same thing as a shooter, you can just determine right off the bat what I need to do, because it's a skill. And it's a skill, something now we're working on just how to master it early. Will allow him to keep a record book of all of his success and the things that his goals and objectives, and what goals are we meeting, and the failures, we just call them, we're not finished yet, because we're in a process. He's in the process of becoming. Here, now we're going to allow him to just really just have the freedom. If you notice, no instructions. Allow him to do what he likes to do. Okay? Use his creativity. If he don't get the outcomes he want, he fix it. And he do it again. Because anything he misses from the 1 foot range can be fixed. And a lot of times, usually that's a last minute decision. But even with a last minute decision, he has to understand that, hey, when I'm at 1 foot from the basket, it's fundamentals. We're working on pace, moving the ball, 1 foot from the basket. There's nothing he shouldn't be able to do with his hands. And his eyes should be up on the rim. That way he can make a decision. Whatever he want to do, he can actually achieve it. Now he's just mixing his jump shot with it. Step back pull up. Here, he can use all the creativity that he desires. Doesn't matter. He's laser focused on his skill set. Nice moves to the basket. The key is he's focused on, he got the reps to finish at the rim. The reps for his jump shot, where he could pull up from anywhere with confidence. The ball handling, done a lot of that, hours and hours and hours of getting that ball to do what we want to do. And then now we just have fun. We're not trying to make every shot. We're just using our creativity. And then I'll lock in and tell him, okay, now you're going to think about mechanics right here. But I have to give him the freedom to try it. And then we look at it and say, okay, that was your flip. Let's do your flip again. Okay, now you just finished that. Okay, one of the things we're going to end this drill with is shooting with his left hand. Now he's learning the mechanics of how to shoot with his left. Because as he get a little older, when he can do a left hand jump shot, comfortable from the free throw line, anything within the free throw line to the rim, he can turn to any side and shoot the basketball. Very few players have that kind of confidence, like a Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving. They have confidence to shoot with their left hand. But it starts here at the front of the rim. Everything, again, you can be taught with the patience. What you're seeing here is a result of him doing hundreds of left hands. We have a little bit of mechanical stuff that we'll be working on, but right now I won't try to fix that. I just want him to be confident up top. Because if we can get the finish and the follow through right, the rest of it the bottom bases easier. He's doing form, finish, and follow through now. Very successful. Very successful. He'll go all the way beyond the free throw line. Very successful. Very proud of his ability to stick with it, the disciplines of it, knowing that it can be done. Then when he shoots it with the right hand, the left hand begins to assist better, because now he can raise both hands up. Again, it's about mechanics, and he's definitely locked into his mechanics of what he want to do, and this is done no matter what. Your athletes on Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, they still no excuses, no days off. Study the craft, study other shooters. Look at what they all have in common. They all have something amazing in common. And what your athlete has to do is have the ability to look at what they have in common and add value to what he or she is doing. Our warm down at the end is a reverse miking drill. It's the same thing that we were doing when he was coming to the basket. But we just add these because the more confidence he get doing it, these are 1-footers. The easier it is going to be on his brain. And then the taller that he gets, the more mature he gets, he'll be able to add this to his arsenal, and going to the basket will not be a problem because he's already familiar with every side of that rim. Finally, I'll add something different. How to go from using outside the paint. I don't care if he missed it right here. We're introducing something. We're introducing a skill set, and we're introducing a strategy. It doesn't matter. I tell him I miss on purpose to let him know missing is okay in your learning process. Just learn it. When we come back and do it in the other video, you'll see the difference.